Hello, welcome back to another live stream. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. And yeah, how the fuck is there already 5 people in here and there's 2 minutes in? Okay. Make sure to like the video as you're coming in and make sure to subscribe if you are new. And yeah, I know what you're waiting for. But make sure to at least like the video because that would actually be a good part of the day. The only good things about today is that I've got a great community that will always be here no matter what when I stream. And West Ham Central is suspended from Twitter. Arsenal lost today, so that was quite fun to recognise. But yeah, I'm gonna get into everything. How is there already 5 people in here? Big up to everyone, man. Big up to Colin, who left a comment earlier. Good evening, Max. Everyone in the chat. Been wanting Loppy out for a while. We need to get rid of him pronto before it's too late. With him, though, there will not change. I cannot see us win the next 3. I completely agree with you. Big up to Warrior. First half, I'm not going to lie, there were a few moments that you did well, but second half, lol. You pretty much just summed up the game there, mate. I might as well end the match reaction there. I'll be real. I don't know what happened today, Mike. It's almost like the mentality dropped after the first goal from Kudus. Unlucky, though. I rooted for West Ham today. Again, you got it spotted as well, Villa fan. Hope you're doing well as well. Congratulations on your 3 points today. Big up to Musty. Unlucky, Mike's. Big up, everyone. Like up as you're getting in. Big up to Musty as always. And listen to him. Like up as you're getting in. Big up to Jonathan. Blowing bubbles, they get so high and fall like usual. Fall like as usual, yeah. Subs should have told him to fuck off like Ben Rama. Yeah, it was pretty much a similar moment to that Newcastle game that happened. You remember that Newcastle game? The West Ham fans are here, the 1-1 in the 21-22 season where boys took off Ben Rama, boys shouting at each other. It felt like that with Kudus today. Bro, I've not seen this many people so early into my channel. I know it's only 8 people. It's only 8 people, but yeah, people are here very early. And my throat isn't even the best today, so I've got to still be coughing today. What happened to West Ham Central? I don't know. I just saw something about him getting suspended. I don't scroll through Twitter anymore, so I haven't seen it. But we're not going to get into the Twitter nonsense today because, there's some people that have overshadowed this with nonsense of their takes, let's say. But I'm not going to mention any names today. When I saw Mavropanos, I was like, I understand why you want him out now. That was a Moyes sub. Like, I thought Moyes was the manager today. The substitutions like Paquetá off for Alvarez and a Rodriguez off for Mavropanos. Rodriguez was our best player. Rodriguez was probably our best player today. And this is the thing, like, these players can play well in moments because they are that good. They are that good in itself. They can play through moments because they can play in spite of the manager. We saw this from last season. But when like people like Kudus and Bowen are playing well in moments and not for a full 90 minutes, when Wan-Bissaka's playing well in spite of the manager, Max Kilman's playing well in spite of the manager, and you're looking at all the best players from last season, and you're thinking, why have they all dropped off? It's because of the manager. That's why they dropped off in the second half of the season, of last season, because of the manager. And it's the same reason. It's just a different manager, but it's the same shit. It's the same shit. That's what I don't get about football fans. It's either one or the other. So it has to be Moyes or Lopetegui. It has to be Moyes versus Lopetegui. I'm not going to entertain the Moyes conversations today, but this is what I don't get about people. So if I dislike the previous manager, that means I have to like this manager. If I like the last manager, it means I have to dislike this manager. What world do people live in? What world do people live in when people think that's actually the logical reason to give out your opinion like that? Yeah, I'm going to get into everything. When I saw Antonio get bodied by Van de Ven, I was just like, retire now. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone has always used the word sacked for Moyes when his contract ran out. Yeah, that's also true. Like, it was a mutual agreement. The reason why we didn't do it is to give more time to prepare for the next manager, and also because of the cheap option. The cheaper way was just to let him run down his contract, wasn't it? Um, we told you about Areola. He goes under the radar for being mediocre. Today he was dog shit. Like, listen, I didn't get so before the first international break, I didn't get the criticism of Areola. I didn't get it. I didn't see what people were seeing. But this was different. This was mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. I like Areola. I don't know why people can't say get Fabianski in because he didn't exactly do any better against Liverpool. Uh, this always happens where I'm happy with two people in a position at this club, and then both of them underperform. This always happens. This happened where a couple years ago I was and there was a point on this YouTube channel where I was happy with the right back position where we had Sufal and Johnson. I know. Look at me now. I hate both of them. But I was happy with Sufal and Johnson at one point as our right back options, and then I remember both of them performed absolutely awful. I feel like that with the goalkeepers. Yes, Fabianski's 40, but even with Areola, yeah, and I want to get like even this comment, like big up FIFA Zilla. Areola is good with his hands, but diabolical with his feet. I've never seen him be this diabolical with his feet, though. That's my thing. Like he's lost it. I've never seen you this bad with your distribution up until the Chelsea game, probably. Other than that, like I thought he was okay, and he's just completely lost it. Now, regardless of who the manager is next season, we need a new goalkeeper. Now, he's one of the players that I actually cannot blame the manager on because as a goalkeeper, it's quite basic. As a goalkeeper, it is not system based. Whether you play out from the back or not, that is unacceptable. It was the one that pissed me off was the one that went to Kilman and it went under his foot, or he just tried to fizz it into Kilman, but Kilman was right next to him. Kilman was right next to him, so he just fizzed it into him. Now, let's take it back from the beginning. Well, hold on, actually, let me get into some of your comments. Kudus lost his head like crazy. My only thing with that, I wanted him to get proper contact on the player. If you're going to hit someone properly. Areola was good last season. He just got CTE this game at Ipswich. I agree. Mike's mate, what team would you pick next? I'll give my team a little later. I have no clue. I have no clue. I think probably I'd probably keep Rodriguez. I put Soler in for Suchek, and I put Somerville in for Kudus because Kudus is going to be suspended. And that's to the start 11. That's probably the only thing I'd change. I just want to make sure I haven't missed out any more comments. Um, Potter, Terzic, Frank, Marco. Uh, you mean Marco Silva? Thomas Frank, I'm unsure of whether I'd want him to like. He's a good manager. I just don't know whether it's specifically with this group of players whether he'd do well. Graham Potter, I do like Graham Potter. I do wonder if he could do well with this group of players. Edin Terzic, still haven't seen enough. I only watched Dortmund in the Champions League. I don't know. It's not really. I haven't got enough sample size for me to give an opinion on that. Marco Silva could do a decent job. I would still like Cameroon, but we're not going to get him, are we? Guido Rodriguez did very well. Surprisingly, he did do very well. He did do very well. Probably he was blocking everything in the first half. Like that's why they had so many corners. They were getting us a lot in the third man runs. If you want to know how Tottenham won the game, third man runs. They were overloading us on each side. Mark Robbins, what from Coventry? I think you're taking it. You gotta be taking. I think you must be taking the piss. I think he's a good manager, but not West Ham level. But even knowing you, you're probably taking the piss. Um, Areola makes small mistakes every game, but in the end, they cost you. Not every game, but I hear you. Definitely fallen off, especially since the first international break. The question is, Mike, if Lopetegui goes, who comes in? Because I do find it difficult to understand how any manager can take over from this rate as some players are diabolical. The players that I think are diabolical, Villa fan, aren't playing, apart from Suchek. Don't get me wrong, Antonio isn't great, but you can get something out of Antonio in the short term. And against lower league opponents, he can perform. I just don't think he wasn't good today, but he didn't really get any service. To be fair to him, when he got the ball, there was no one around him. So like as much as I was quite frustrated with parts of Antonio's game today, with context, there's 10 people in there. Jesus Christ! And make sure to leave a like as you're coming in. There wasn't really enough people around him when he had the ball. With Thomas Suchek, everyone knows my opinion. I don't even need to go into it. With the players that played today, I don't think any of them are that diabolical. Um, Cresswell's diabolical, but he's about 38. Sufa's diabolical, but he didn't play. Mavropanos can be diabolical, but I don't mind him as a squad player. I don't think he's as shit as the other players that I mentioned. But he isn't great either. He's not the level. I do think this is actually a good squad to come in and take. It's just the right appointment. Like I was on the terrace earlier. Big up to everyone I was there when I was on the terrace earlier. And it was quite a surprise. It was very last minute. And Terry even said it himself. And it was pretty much been my stance ever since like Moyes went. Moyes leaving is fine, but Lopetegui coming in is not the right option. Big up to Fuego again. Yeah, they almost scored because he hesitated when Solanke was running at him. Poor communication with Emerson. Yeah, yeah, I agree. I agree. I have heard that we are looking to get a goalkeeper in Italy. I'm interested to know who that is. Score was 1-1, went to pour myself a drink, came back and it's 4-1. That's pretty much the game, isn't it? Like, I'm going to get into why I've titled this after the comments. Because there's not much great links going on, and Paquetá's not been the same since the stupid bet and accusation going on. Areola is looking like he's not himself anymore. Okay, yeah, fair enough. With Areola and Paquetá, I hear you, because I've been demanding Paquetá to get dropped. But I'm looking at all these players, and I'm very hesitant to go in on the so-called best players at this club just because I don't know if it's the manager or them, because a lot of them have fallen off. Like Bowen and Kudus tried their very best today. They tried their utmost best. Like Wan-Bissaka tried his best today. I don't even think individually the centre backs did that bad. I don't think Emerson was great. Well, no, I think Emerson started well. I don't think it dipped a little bit. Um, I thought Rodriguez did fine. Suchek was nowhere to be seen, but I'm too tired about talking about him at this point. Um, I think Antonio tried his best, but he didn't get anything, to be honest with you. I always like to talk about service when it comes to strikers at West Ham. I don't think I've criticised Antonio a lot this season, but I don't think that's a game that I can really criticise him on. Don't get me wrong, though. I think he's more suited towards lower league opponents. I don't think he's the same Antonio, and I don't even think it's fair to even expect it. Um, so yeah. Remember Aaron Wan-Bissaka's debut when he was combining with Bone? Why has Bone stopped? He back passes now. I actually think that the reason why that happens is because Bowen is on the touchline and Wan-Bissaka's playing inverted. When we actually scored that goal today, Bowen was in positions where we needed Jared Bowen running at players and Wan-Bissaka on the touchline. I think that could be great. I think them two could link up very well if Wan-Bissaka's just on the touchline and Bowen is in the pockets. But again, this manager doesn't do that. But I've been complaining about that for time now. Lopetegui is counting his days. He's gone by November international break. He should go now. He should go now. We can't be waiting for another international break because we will end up losing to a Ten Hag Man United at home. Big up, bro. Big up to Ryan, as always. Is it still early to say sack him? You've got a load of new players. He's a new manager. I didn't have any expectations this season, Ryan. And I was always willing to give someone patience, but I need to know the outline of what you're doing. Like when your manager, Maresca, Emery, Postecoglou, just giving examples of new managers when they come into a club, you know the outline of what they're going to do, but you don't know what. But with this manager, you don't actually know what he's going to do. You don't know what style of play he's going to come out with. The problem is he's kind of digging his own grave because he's not playing the right players, bad team selections, bad tactics. I don't know what he's trying to do because I'm seeing a different West Ham every game. So that's the reason why I'm saying sack him. And also losing 4-1 just because you're new as a manager, you can't be losing 4-1 to Tottenham. You can't be losing 3-0 to Chelsea. Yes, these are two decent teams. Tottenham ain't that great, but Chelsea are a decent team. But 3-0 was unacceptable. It's the way we conceded the goals as well. It's the way we're conceding. It's the way we're approaching it. And it's the erraticness. Like, don't get me wrong, yeah? We used to go from the last manager and say, why isn't Moyes making subs late? Why is Moyes making subs? Why is he always subbing people on in like the 80th minute, etc.? But with this manager, it's like he only makes early subs when we're in danger, not because we need to make early subs and it's like 1-1 and we need to get the goal over the line. It's like we've gone down now. He's now going to make 3 subs. He's too erratic as a manager. I don't think it's ever too early to say sack him if you can't see anything. And what I mean by anything, I just need no to outline of what you're doing. I don't know what we're trying to do. We had glimpses against Man City and Ipswich where we thought we could kick on, but we don't approach games the same. That's why I'm always negative when I talk in previews on other people's channels and on this channel when I'm talking about we're not going to win today. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. There's a reason. There's a big reason. And it's because of performances like that. And I've had enough. And I'm gonna before I get into everyone's comments, keep leaving your comments in, keep getting your opinions in. The reason why I've said sack him, I'm begging in brackets past ranting, is because I said this after the Chelsea game. I'm done with shouting and screaming, and I was shouting at when I was watching the game today. I was shouting. I was like, "Come on!" I was getting angry like I usually do, but because I was getting up for it because it's Tottenham away. But as soon as their first goal went in, I went back to just I don't care mode. I don't care. And the reason why I don't care is because what's the point of me getting my hopes up? What is the point of me caring when this manager is setting the team up like this? I can't say that none of the players today didn't fight. They fought, but they didn't know what they were instructed to do today. I can't even really go at the players. Really. I can criticize some like apart from Ariola, I can't really criticize any of them because they don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they've been instructed to do. There's no confidence. I don't care what Antonio says in interviews. He has to say what he says in interviews about we're confident in the way we're playing now. That's the headline I saw in the TNT Sports interview. But I don't believe that. Just because you won 4-1, you can make people believe that you're saying that. And I know there was a balance of Tottenham fans that probably thought that there was going to be a West Ham that was going to turn up today, and it kind of looked like that from the goal. But it a bit like last season, once West Ham go 1-0 up, what do? They sit back. It's the exact same approach with, in fact, a completely different squad because three of the back four are new. And to be fair, the three of the back four actually look like they understand each other, but they don't understand what the approach to the game actually is. Kilman, Tadibo, and Wan-Bissaka, Emerson could be a very good back four, just not under this manager. A big up to Darren. Hope you're doing well, my guy. Who do you want to be the next West Ham manager, Mikes? If I'm talking ideal, then I would have liked Amarim from the summer. That's probably not going to happen anymore. I'd be interested in going after Conceição from what people say. Sorry or sorry. Because I've not really known when people ask me this question. I wouldn't mind Graham Potter, but I'm not. There's a couple of things tactically that I'm not too sure about when it comes to Graham Potter. But I just want a coach. I just want a coach that's going to get the best out of these players. I don't care. I don't actually care what style of player actually is. I think personally that a possession-based front-footed style of play will get the best out of these players. But do I think we have to play that at West Ham United? I don't think we have to. But I'm saying that with these group of players, that would be ideal because you probably get the best out of them by playing on the front foot. We've played defensive for the past, well, forever, and it's never worked with these group of players. Every game that we did well in last season, apart from Arsenal away and ironically Tottenham away, was because we played on the front foot. Wolves at home, for example, Freiburg at home, them games, them type of games. Freiburg at home twice, actually, in the group and in the quarters. In the quarters? Round of 16, whatever. Even with Sean Dyche, you know what style of player he's going to play. Lopetegui looks like he doesn't have no tactics. 5 minutes of long balls and 10 minutes of passing. That you've hit the nail on the head. You've hit the nail on the head. It is literally sometimes we go long for the sake of it. He approached it like he did Fulham away, but just with a different style of players where he just went long from goal kicks and we would win the flick on and there's no one there for the second ball because guess what? We're not set up to play long ball football. But for some reason he wants to play this possession-based long ball football and we play the ball way too slow. That's the thing. Like a lot of the people online were doing a lazy comparison to Manuel Pellegrini when he came in. But I can tell you this, from someone who remembers Pellegrini ball quite well, it is just like Manuel Pellegrini ball. It is slow and sideways. In fact, it's debatably worse because we didn't kick the ball that as long with Pellegrini. It actually looked like we were trying to do something under Pellegrini, but it wasn't good enough at all. We were playing the ball way too slow under Pellegrini, and it looks the exact same now. He thinks he's still in La Liga, and to be honest, even if he went back to La Liga now, I think this era of coaching is past him because this guy was flopping at the back end of his Sevilla run anyway. I think he is done out. I think he's done as a top 5 league manager, just in general. He can't go to the Bundesliga and play that high line football. He can't go to the French league where there's more physicality. He can't go back to the Spanish league. Uh, yeah, and he's definitely not going to get another job in the Premier League. Anyone that hires him after this would be a fool. And I did debate this Moyes Lopetegui thing before. I'm not going to entertain this shit. I'm not going to entertain the previous manager stuff. Would you take Michael Carrick at West Ham? No, only because he's a former player and because people will get too emotional about a former player managing my club. I don't care if they're the best manager in the world. I'm not taking a former player to manage West Ham United because it's going to divide the fan base too much. Where if the former player, whoever it is managing the club and they go under a bad run of form and they're under pressure and they actually deserve to be sacked, then a lot of the fans' defense will be, but he knows the club. That's a problem. That's a big, big problem. I don't want to go through that with someone like Carrick, for example, who will need patience to instill his style of play. Don't get me wrong, would actually probably get an identity, but that would I don't think that's the direction we need to be going in. I still think we'd be playing catch up with the likes of. I know Villa are way ahead of us anyway, but we'd be playing even deeper catch up with the likes of Villa and God forbid even Newcastle, even though they're absolutely awful as well. It's the type of teams where we need to be up there for European places. We're not going to get Europe this season. I never thought we were going to. But yeah, you know what I mean. Supposedly, Maresca managed a game once versus Chelsea in 2019 for Pellegrini, and he won. Pellegrini didn't beat Chelsea, I don't think. Pellegrini didn't beat Chelsea until the 1920 season. I don't think Maresca was even there for the 1920 season. In the league in 18-19, we drew to Chelsea at home, and then we lost away from home. We drew 0-0, and then we lost at the bridge where Hazard walked through us. I know Maresca was in our coaching staff, but yeah. Mike, I know that Kretinsky and other board members are not happy, but Dildo, Sullivan, and Brady are the ones keeping lobby here. We'll see. Big up, Mike's. Respectfully hold that. Big up to Barry Balotelli. I'd say Terzic. He'd got a UCL final, and he's managed recently, and he can get the most out of Fulkirk. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I'd get behind him, but again, I mean, he was a former coaching staff as well. Again, then I don't know. Understandably, there are Spurs fans in the chat, and to be fair, you guys deserve the win. I'd be doing the same probably to Spurs Shadows if I had the time. Chelsea fans were swarming an old West Ham tweet that said Maresca managed that game. I don't remember this. I don't remember it happening. But to be fair, it's not anything to go off because even if he did, I accidentally just clashed into my desk there. Even if he did manage that one game, what does that do for us? You know, chin up, Mike, and big up. No, big up to yourself, bro. Big up to yourself, Deck. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, guys, look, going into the game, like we actually had like a few moments in the first half where you think, okay, we can get at them. But why didn't we get at them a lot more? But from the very start, we basically saw West Ham give away the ball constantly. We saw West Ham give away the ball pretty much all the time since the game started. We didn't take care of it. Like Tadibo and Wan-Bissaka and Kilman would play around with the ball quite well. And then as soon as it gets into midfield, panic because none of the midfielders show for the ball. And getting down the wings, they just press us and then we don't know where to go. We're not brave enough. We're not brave enough to keep the ball. Spanish people are meant to like football. I don't think this guy likes football. I think he has the spirit, you know, of an Englishman. Of an Englishman in terms of the Allardyces of this world and the Pulises. If we're talking, they call Arteta the Paella Pulis. What the fuck is Lopetegui then? Even though Pellegrini was bad, Terzic and Maresca are good managers and they worked under him. Well, Terzic worked under Bilic, not Pellegrini. But yeah, Terzic, it's not really enough of a sample size. I can't really even entertain it because I don't even know if he's going to be linked. And Maresca, we probably missed out. We missed out on something there. We missed out on Maresca, missed out on De Zerbi, if that was ever on. I don't think either of them were even on. And to be fair, we don't even inquire to clubs about whether these managers are available, which is a problem. If we just went after Amarim, because we knew other clubs were after him, and we thought, okay, he's available, cool. I know we were linked to Slot, but we were never going to get him. Also with Lopetegui, he's been begging for a Premier League job for a while, so they just thought, okay, we'll take the chance and stuff like that. But he needs to go. He needs to leave. In the second half, I'm not going to lie, I was counting how many passes you were missing in that midfield. Bro, I can't lie, yeah. I think it was after it was like 3-1, I went on my phone for the rest of the game. I was making a thumbnail. I was just tweeting. I went on my phone for the rest of the game. I couldn't be asked. I'm past this getting angry stuff. I know some of you are disappointed, and I'm not doing this because of the Tottenham game and stuff. I did it in the Chelsea game as well. Like, I'm past getting angry because I don't have the passion for this anymore in terms of not YouTube, football. When it comes to trying to get up for it, I got up for the game today, but they disappointed me again. Every time I get up for West Ham, they disappoint me. So what is the point? There is no point. There is no point at all trying to get up and try to hope. This is why when I go on these shows and I go on other people's channels and when we preview the game, I don't predict a win for a reason. I said a draw. That was me being positive. And I was still criticizing us. I said a draw. I said 1-1. I said 1-1 and neither of us are that good. Both of us are better than we should be. And then we gave them all that space in the second half. I'm not saying don't go for it, but have a strategy of going for it. There is no strategy. It was just kind of like, okay, the fullbacks are high up, but we're not giving the ball to them. We'll give the ball to the opposition instead. If you want to play possession-based football, why are you playing Thomas Suchek? If you want to play long ball football, why are you long balling it to someone who's 5'9"? Antonio's not good in the air. So why do we keep longing the ball up to him? It's not fair on him. It's not his game. It's not even fair on Thomas Suchek to even say we should be playing football with him. Because as much as he likes to say, I'm underrated on the ball and I'm underappreciated on the ball, you're not. You're shit on the ball. You're good in the air. You're good at draws. You're good at defending. And you're fox in the box. But the whole point of being a midfielder is playing in the middle. He's not good at that. And I didn't see him today. The only criticism I'll say of Suchek today would be I didn't see him in his defensive side. He's usually still putting blocks in, he's putting tackles in, he's winning duels defensively. I didn't see any of that today. With Emerson, I didn't see enough link-up play with Kudus. With Kudus, he tried his best. Bowen tried his best, regardless of the circumstances that he's played under a terrorist of a manager. Wan-Bissaka did his best. Like, I don't know what people expected Todibo and Kilman to do when they were isolated for the goal because, again, the structure. Look at the structure. What are we doing? What are we trying to do? There isn't going to be player ratings today because, as much as I just gave you criticisms on players, I'll give Areola a 0, and that's that. Everyone else, I don't care because Areola is the only one I can judge, taking away the manager because he's in goal. All the outfield players, what the fuck am I meant to say? I know their level. My eyes don't lie to me. I know their level. I know that some of these players are not good enough. I know that some of these players are better than what they're showing. I know this because I've seen the levels. I've seen it. He went back to Germany, so it probably is worse than they're saying. Eh. Fuck it, play 28 striker before he gets sacked. That's when we get desperate. That's when we get desperate. We go to Man United and we rock up with Thomas Suchek up front. Then that manager will just strictly go long ball. Big up to Omar. I'll check my DMs now. Big up to yourself, bro. Sure. But make sure to like the video, people. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already. If we've got 9 people here, we had 10 people, 11 people, 13 people. I'm trying to see 10 likes before I end the stream. So 10 likes, please. Okay. All right. I'm gonna be on Omar's channel at 11 people as well. So if you want to see me talk about this depressing club even more, then I'm going to be on Omar's channel at 11 people. So make sure to subscribe to Omar as well. We played with 9 today. Antonio and 28 were a ghost. I'm going to be nice today with Sir Antonio. No service. Because when don't get me wrong, his touch should be better. We know this already when it comes to Mikel Antonio. Um, but this is something we haven't said for like the past like even 10 years that he's been here. My problem is the structure and the way we're playing. For example, when the ball gets into Antonio, who's around him? There was one point where, do you know the chance where Antonio was trying to get past Van der Ven and Van der Ven pushes him away? The reason why Antonio's in that situation in the first place is because Bowen's not around him, Paquetá's not around him, and Kudus is not around him. Because the players don't know what they're doing. Because they don't know what they've been instructed to do. I would love to be a fly on the wall for when the manager is giving his instructions. I would love to be a fly on the wall. I would love it. Because what is the instructions? What are we trying to do? What is the intention? How are we trying to approach the game? It's going to be the most identityless El Sacico next week on Sunday. I'm trying to plan a big preview for that. I've tried to put something in the works for that to get there on Friday. I've got a few ideas and a few people that I would like to get because I know a lot of Man United fans. And even they won today. Even they beat Brentford. Sure, it was at home. People are going to be like, oh, but they was at Old Trafford. Okay, cool. But they beat Brentford today. Why can't we beat Brentford? And one of the excuses I saw today was, oh, but every team we've lost to are way better than us. We was literally just below Tottenham before this game. You're telling me, fair enough, Aston Villa are way better than us. So what? We drew with them last season. Man City, cool. I'll give you that one. I'll let that one go. Even though I don't think it's acceptable to lose to anyone. We were at home, by the way, as well. Chelsea, they've got a new manager. Then their manager has just arrived. People are like, but their squad's way better. Their manager's just arrived. You're using the exact same excuse for this manager. What is the excuse for Chelsea? Guess what? Chelsea have a way better coach. Aston Villa, Emery didn't have a pre-season when he came in, by the way. Emery didn't have a pre-season when he came in. It's about coaching. There was people. Do you know what the difference is? And I'm going to use Chelsea as an example again. People were criticizing Chelsea, and I'm going to use Bournemouth as an example as well. Chelsea and Bournemouth. Chelsea had Pochettino, and there was a group of people that were complaining about, well, a portion of the fan base complaining about Pochettino and talking about they're undercoached and all this and all this. Pochettino leaves. They get Maresca in. And look at the difference between the Chelsea of last season and the Chelsea of this season. He knows how to coach. Guess what the problem was with Chelsea last season? Coaching. Bournemouth, Gary O'Neill. People said that the Gary O'Neill sacking was harsh. I thought it as well initially. But when I understood and actually listened to the side of the Bournemouth side of things, I watched a channel called Back of the Net. It's a Bournemouth YouTube channel. And they were reacting to the Gary O'Neill sacking and did an interview with a Bournemouth journalist. It does the insides of Bournemouth. And they're trying to go to a similar direction to how Brighton are going. So when they got Iraola in, guess what? They look better coached. And then people started raving about Iraola, and people are now raving about Maresca. We don't hear anything to do with Gary O'Neill at Bournemouth anymore, and we don't hear anything to do with Pochettino at Chelsea anymore. You want to know why? Because they changed their manager even though people said they shouldn't, they changed their manager and they upgraded. The reason why people are still talking about Moyes is because we didn't upgrade. This was my fear before the season started, was that every time we lose, David Moyes would be trending. Now, let me get back to, I was about to say a really bad word. Let me get back to this idiot's West Ham Central for a second. I don't want to give the guy attention, but now that he's suspended, fuck him, I'm going to dig his grave. Listen, I quote tweeted Culture Cams talking about David Moyes, and he said that David Moyes, you should have sacked David Moyes. Like, they don't look hard to beat anymore. And I quote tweeted that with 4 screenshots of us getting battered last season. He replied and said that was 4 games in 4 years. I don't know if the guy's trying to purposely be stupid or it's just being a troll. But I replied, do you want me to name more games? I didn't get a response. You want to know why I didn't get a response? Because these people are stupid. These people that try to debate football with you on Twitter are fucking stupid. They're stupid. I'm not saying I'm the smartest person in the world. I'm not fucking smart at all. But when it comes to football, I know what I'm talking about. Because guess what? I use my eyes. I don't use expected threat stats. I don't use SofaScore. I don't use FootMob. I don't use these apps to know how my team is doing. By the way, I like to take interest in every team in the Premier League. Every team in the Premier League. So look, guess what I do? I do my research before the game. And I keep an eye on everyone's news. Not only that, I don't just look at the Premier League table and check out how a team is doing in the league and then judge their season off that and look at their last few results and judge a season off that. If I haven't watched the game, I don't judge the game. You know what? A lot of these people that do online on YouTube, on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok, and all these apps, yeah, do you know what they do? They will do a review of a game or a review of a team or a review of a headline. This team has sacked this manager. How have they done this? How have they done that? They probably haven't watched a single game of that team throughout the whole season. They probably haven't. This is why a lot of Nottingham Forest fans were in my comments angry at me because they said they were claiming that I didn't watch Nottingham Forest and all that. I watched a lot of Nottingham Forest. My problem is I wanted to be unpopular with a prediction. That's why they were giving me shit because I predicted them to get relegated. But I didn't actually think they were going to get relegated. I wanted to be unpopular with that opinion because I wanted to predict two promoted teams to survive in the Premier League. The problem is online, a lot of these people online don't watch West Ham. They can't tell you 5 games that they've watched of West Ham. What they do, these guys are casual Premier League fans. And I'm a casual Premier League fan. But these guys are casual fans of the Premier League when their teams are in the Premier League. So what they'll do, they'll only watch West Ham when they're on TV. Of course they will, because they are fans of other clubs. They don't watch other teams. So when you're talking, and it's always, by the way, and no offense, I know some of you guys in the chat are fans of Big Six clubs as well. It's nothing against you guys. It's against these certain people. Fans of Big Six clubs that like to talk on the other 14 teams in the Premier League don't know what they're fucking talking about because they don't watch them. They're not invested in them. You're invested in your own club, you're arrogant, and you're entitled with your own team. You complain about your own team so much. You don't watch us. You don't have the time to watch us because you're busy people. But how about this? If you haven't watched something, don't talk about it. Don't talk about it. If you can't name me 5 West Ham games that you watched last season, in fact, not even 5, give me 8. Give me 8. That's a good sample size. Give me 8 West Ham games you watched last season. Don't talk about us. And I don't do the same for other teams. Could you imagine if Southampton, for example, they sack Russell Martin tomorrow, and I could be like, oh, how ungrateful are Southampton? Russell Martin got them promoted through the playoffs. I've watched like 3 Southampton games this season out of the 8 that they've played. Who am I to judge them? But people like to be in a conversation and act like they know what they're talking about. They don't. They don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, he has been here since June. Fulham Palace aggregate was crazy. Exactly. 5-1 to Palace and 5-2 to Palace and 5-0 to Fulham. Cams has been talking for most every podcast, dumb guy. I like Cams, by the way. I like Cams. This isn't all of that run wasn't actually against him. But I don't think he watches West Ham either. I don't know why he likes David Moyes so much. I like Cams. I met Cams in real life. I went to the Adidas FCM event. I rate him. He was very nice in person. I'm a fan of FCM podcast, but I don't think he watches West Ham. And I don't know why it's a correlation of Lopetegui, Moyes. That's why I don't get. And his tweet was very flawed. Even this is why I quote tweeted it with the amount of times we got battered last season, because we haven't been hard to beat since the 21-22 season. And I've talked about this before. If people want me to debunk the whole Moyes theories again, I'll do it again. Even though I don't want to. And I've seen it on other podcasts as well. I'm not this type of person that likes to call out people by name or likes to call out people in general. But I'm going to have to start doing it if people keep talking about my club the way they do. Because it's not even about Cams. It's about other people that I know you don't watch West Ham because you don't talk about West Ham. But guess what? When West Ham's on TV, you have to talk about West Ham because we're the trending topic at the time as we're on TV. I know when we're not on TV, you're not going to talk about us. Guess why? Because you're not watching us. and you've never watched us. Again, that's not directed at Cam. And listen, I'll end up calling it out at the end. Yeah, good on you, mate. Appreciate it. Then the bottle versus Newcastle and Aston Villa. Yeah, even if you want to go with games that we drew, we could go there. We could go there as well. I will do a whole video on it if people want me to. Claret and Booze had a fire intro that showed every major loss. I think I remember that. And the thing is, these people didn't have to watch us every week last season. I heard no word from these same people that are backing David Moyes now. When we got battered to Palace, when we got battered to Chelsea, when we got battered to Arsenal, Fulham, Liverpool in the Cup, Villa, the draws to Sheffield United and Burnley, the bottle job against Villa at home, the bottle job with Newcastle at home, the bottle job Newcastle away, Newcastle at home as well, by the way. Think about it, we drew 2-2 in the end, we were 1-0 up, we went 2-1 down. And this is with a whole different squad, with a whole different manager. So people think when I'm going at Moyes, I'm defending Lopetegui, which people are replying to my tweet today like I'm Lopetegui in. I don't think this is acceptable. I don't like these managers. I have no loyalty towards any player or any manager at this club. If I have all the context involved and I'm judging you by fate and by my eyes and not by anything else, I'm not being influenced by any YouTube channel, any Twitter, any tweet, any Instagram post, then I'm going to criticize you. There's not one person that has been employed by West Ham, manager and player wise, that I haven't criticized on this YouTube channel that hasn't just signed in the summer. There's not been one player that I haven't criticized. I've criticized everyone. If anyone joined the Q&A last Sunday, I said Antonio was my favorite West Ham player of all time. I've criticized him all season. No one can say I have agendas against anyone. People probably think I have agenda against Souček or something. I literally gave him so much credit against Ipswich. I will keep the same energy for every player on this channel. Because guess what? It's not about player FC. I'm a West Ham fan. Play well for my club, I give you credit. You don't play well for my club, hold smoke. Hold it. It's simple. It's a simple concept. Watch football with your eyes, judge with your eyes, and then give your review after. Life is as simple as that. And guess what? Football's simple. And I've repeated this exact phrase on every podcast I've been on, every show I've been on. If your manager is not getting the best out of your players, something's wrong. I said that on the terrace today. I said that on Waffle TV and Coach's Corner yesterday. Big up to Abs and Hanno. I said that on George's channel. Big up to Do-Rag Diaries. I said it on everyone's channel. Everyone's. The manager just has to get the best out of the players. Forget style of play. Forget identity. Forget who the manager is. Forget the club. Put the manager at the club. Are they getting the best out of the players that they have? If the answer is no, sack them. It could be 3 months in. It could be 2 years in. It doesn't matter. And when I mean getting the best, is there an identity at the club? No. There's an identity upstairs in terms of footballing structure. There's not an identity on the pitch. That's why when the transfer window is so good, there's going to be more expectation. But people will put out the argument as well. I had this debate before. But you could have backed Moyes with these players. Moyes wouldn't have wanted this squad. Moyes wanted a small squad. He wanted to keep Kurt Zuma. He wanted to keep Aaron Cresswell. He wanted to keep Vladimir Sufal, who all started last season. Again, if Again's playing well in La Liga now, I don't watch La Liga, I'm sorry. But again was shit for us last season. So he's not good enough for my club. Mavropanos was okay last season. I didn't actually have much smoke from Mavropanos last season. He benched Alvarez because he said we were missing Declan Rice against Chelsea and we got battered. And it's the reason why we're getting battered was because we were missing Declan Rice. Brother, you had 100 million to spend. You wanted Harry Maguire for fuck's sake. You wanted Maguire and McTominay. What the fuck are you on about? This is the stuff I get annoyed at. So when I'm ranting about things, I've said this for weeks. I've said this for the past month and a half. It's not about the game anymore. It's about the gaslighting. I said that on the London show on Lewis's channel. It's about the gaslighting. Another year of gaslighting. It's another year of it. And I'm sure that I'm going to have to go on shows this week talking about this game again. Talking about this club again and repeating myself. And I'm sure some of you are sick at home, sick of me repeating myself. But guess what? I'm seeing the same thing over and over again. So I'm kind of forced to repeat myself. I'm kind of forced to do that because watching the game today, West Ham, Tottenham, and West Ham, Chelsea. Those are the games that if it's because Millwall's not in the Premier League, you look forward to them games. Well, that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to look forward to them games. We haven't won either of them. We've only played in London, was at home against a non-London team, or we played in a London derby. That only ends after the Man United game, where we play Nottingham Forest away, which we're gonna lose. And by the way, Man United and Forest, we could easily get 0 points out of that. We should be beating Man United. We should be trying to get something at Forest. But even 2 points, even two draws, it's not acceptable. But guess what? I'm sure people are gonna try and be like, but it's early. So what if it's fucking early? So what if it's early into the season? So fucking what? What does that mean? What have you seen on the pitch for you to say give him more time? What have you seen? If you answer me that question, anyone that's watching this, if you can see something that Lopetegui is doing, please tell me. After a 4-1 loss, I shouldn't be seeing more defense for a manager than criticism. After a 4-1 loss to Tottenham, that shows your mentality, not mine. I want to win every game. Fofana, the one that got away. That Yusuf Fofana would have been like a dream signing, not gonna lie. Pakistan needs to be dropped. He's not performing. Have dropped a few games and may give him a kick up in the backside. It may do. It may do. Only thing that matters to me is that West Ham win. Players come and go. Exactly. Exactly, Darren. Exactly. Because we're fans of a club. We're not player FC. We're not manager FC. That's why I said before I don't have any loyalty towards these people. You see, like if someone does good for your club, yeah, like they become a cult hero, they become a legend, etc. Like whether that's over a couple years, a couple months, etc. They've got credit in the bank, but then they start falling off. Just because of past proceedings doesn't mean I'm not going to criticize you and not say you are not good enough. Because there's a time and a place. There's a time when you are good enough at a club, and there's a time when you're not good enough. Because fall offs happen for that reason. That's why the word fall off is a phrase. Because you don't perform at the top and at your best all the time, at anywhere, at any walk in life, any walk of life. That happens at any walk of life. So let's say Bowen, for example. Let's say Bowen. Let's use Bowen as an example. If he started putting 0 out of 10 performances for the next rest of the season, and then we start again the new season, and he's doing the same thing again, I'm going to be criticizing him. Obviously, this isn't going to happen because it's Jared Bowen. I know him. He's not going to. I don't know him personally, but I know him as a footballer. He's not going to do that. But I'm just using it as an example because he's someone that's done a lot for the club. Antonio has done a lot for the club. One of my favorite West Ham player. But your time is done at the very top level as a regular starter to start every game. And to be honest, it's not fair on Antonio to ask him to put in these performances every game. It's not. It's not fair on him. The guy's like 34. It's not fair on him. He's traveling all around the world. Like, he's going to Jamaica for international duty and coming back. I know he didn't play both games. It doesn't matter. And he's coming to travel back to train at his age and do all these fucking graveyard shifts up front. He's been doing it for about 20 years, bruv. Like, seriously, what more do we need to ask? He needs to be gone Sunday morning, Monday morning. If he's not, then you've dug your own grave for the season. I said after the Chelsea game, the season's done. I said after the Chelsea, I warned everyone when we drew to Fulham, if we lose to Chelsea, I want him out. And even in the lead up towards the game, people will notice on the channels that I was on, I was criticizing the manager a lot. I was calling him all types of names. And guess what we saw? The same shit. Because they gave us hope against Man City. Against Ipswich, people said we turned a corner. We didn't turn a corner, by the way. I said on the Ipswich game, I'm happy to win, but the win doesn't cover all the other errors and all the other concerns and mistakes that I'm personally afraid of. It doesn't. It doesn't cover it at all. So don't try it. Don't try it, please. Like, listen, I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with this manager. I'm not happy with the way we're setting up. I'm not happy with the lack of ruthlessness either. If you want to be a successful club, you have to be ruthless. I could give you many examples. And when I mean successful, I mean try to get into Europe and try to go for the FA Cup and Carabao Cup. Taking the cup seriously, going for cups. Because we don't win many trophies. So let's change that. How about that? I've been demanding that for years. I've never seen a cup run in a domestic cup at West Ham. The closest I got to see that was in the 15-16 season, where we were absolutely robbed at Man United away. And this was the time where I used to complain about referees and used to blame it on pure robberies and stuff like that. And then we lost that. And then we lost in the replay at our own ground. That was the closest season when Payet scored the free kick, where we were close to the FA Cup. Every West Ham fan was brought up knowing the importance of the FA Cup. I've not seen a cup run. And we're not going to see one this season because we already know the manager's intentions when it comes to cups. We saw that against Liverpool. The exact same as last year. 5-1 to Liverpool. It's happened 2 years in a row. Oh, but it was a 5-1 game. It's a cup game. Win no matter what the performance is. You have to win. Stop using excuses. It's like these people actually want to lose every week. It's like these people actually want to lose. It's fine if we lose the better teams. So if it's fine that we lose to better teams, judging by what this Lopetegui West Ham is, we might as well be happy with 15th. It doesn't make any sense. It makes fuck all sense. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me. And you know what? Fuck it. We're going to do player ratings. We'll do player ratings. Fuck it. All right. As I'm preparing the player ratings, I'm getting the lineups up on Google. I'll tell you quickly the schedule, people. You'll probably get 2 or 3 videos tomorrow. The match reaction to the Super Sunday games. I'll probably pre-record it instead of live streaming it. You'll also get the things we learned from Tottenham versus West Ham. You'll also get probably the streaming clip for the player ratings, which I'll probably prepare now as well. Also, in midweek, we'll be having watch-alongs for European games. That is Aston Villa versus Bologna, Bayern Munich versus Barcelona, and Manchester United versus Fenerbahce. All watch-alongs will be on the channel. The watch-alongs for Champions League and Europa League games are back as they were last season. And also the show of Alfie. I'm sure we'll do that after the Crystal Palace Nottingham Forest Monday Night Football as well. Let's get the player ratings up and sorted because fuck it, might as well. Yeah, just the West Ham, of course, just the West Ham team. Kulusevski for them today was fucking brilliant. I can't lie. He did bits. All right. Okay, Alphonse Areola, probably the worst performance. Wait, hold on. Let me put the clip up as well. Start this clip at 55, 20. Okay. Areola in goal. Probably the worst Areola performance I have ever seen at this club. Hasn't been great this season. A couple of the goals you could argue were preventable, cool. But my thing was the distribution, and it was the basics of passing a ball sideways. And it wasn't really under much pressure either. So I'm going to have to give a 0 to Areola. As much as I like him as a goalkeeper, terrible today. It was generally awful. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, with all the context in the world, he generally did all he could. I think he got twisted up by Son once. Only real defensive frailty I can really say. On the ball, he didn't start that well, but he picked it up really well and tried to link up well. The problem is he's been playing inverted, and he's still been one of our best players this season. I'm going to give him a 6. I'll give him a 6. To Debo, I'll give you a 5. The only reason why I'm giving you a 5 and I'm lowering your rating is because of the goals that it technically wasn't all your fault, but you was a defender in the back 4 of conceding 4 goals, so I'm going to have to lower your rating for that, but I don't actually think he was that bad. He didn't make any clear and obvious errors like the PGMOL. So I'm going to give you a 5. Same with Max Kilman. Don't think he did much wrong, but you're part of a team that conceded 4. I'm not like I have no concerns with Wan-Bissaka, Kilman, and Tadima overall. It's just the structure's all wrong. Emerson at left back. Yeah, I give you a 5. I didn't really notice Emerson, to be fair, so I can't really say too much with Emerson. I'll give you a 5. I think everyone actually defended quite well in the first half. I don't know what happened in the second half. Rodriguez, I'm actually going to give an 8. The reason why I'm going to give an 8, or no, actually, let me lower that. I'll give him a 7. A lot of good tackles, a lot of stopping. It was the only person that was stopping the third man run from Tottenham today. The problem is he can't do it all on his own. A lot of good blocks and a lot of good tackles. So yeah, I'll give you a 7. Man said Kudus automatic 10 match rate for absolutely battering Van der Ven. The problem is, my only criticism with that, he didn't get enough contact, in my opinion. If you're going to slap someone, do it properly, in my opinion. That's why with Kudus, I ain't even going to take the red card into account because I understand, bro. I understand you don't want to play under this manager. I wouldn't want to play under this manager either. And I understand that after playing at West Ham under Moyes and Lopetegui, you was sold a dream, my friend. So I'm going to give you a 6. I'll give you a 7. I'll give you a 7. Paquetá, 5. He didn't do anything, to be fair. It wasn't that bad in the first time. He didn't do anything. Souček. I'm not going to be. I've seen worse games from you, but you weren't there for anything. You didn't do anything. I don't really. I'm not even going to talk about him that much because I'm kind of sick of talking about him. So I'm going to give him a 4. On a real though, Kudus being out for 3 games really doesn't help us. No, it doesn't at all. The only thing it does is give Somerville maybe more game time, but unless he plays solo on the left like a crackhead. Bowen, again, I'll give you a 7. You tried your best. Can't really do much else. Antonio, I'll give a 5. Didn't really get much service and baggy touches when coming to receive the ball. Didn't turn up for a Tottenham West Ham game for once. So yeah, that's the player ratings. I ain't got much to say about the substitutions. Like, I don't know what people expect when it's 4-1 down and these substitutions are coming on. God knows how the manager's going to line up against Man United. If we lose to this Man United team, it's embarrassing. And potentially, I'd actually say he's doing a worse job than Moyes was even doing last season. And I was complaining a lot about Moyes last season. I'd say, apart from, funny enough, even though we're still conceding goals, it's probably because we have better individuals in defence. But apart from the defenders, it's worse than last season. I used to say it was on par. And big up to Damien. He said Moyes was better. Lopetegui's worse. Yeah, I agree. We probably downgraded on a manager. Doesn't mean I want the other manager back. I don't. That's a misconception. I want an actual manager. Someone that can actually coach. I want a head coach. I want someone that's actually going to coach a team. So no. But listen, I've done an hour. We'll leave it there, people. I'm streaming and uploading every day, so if you want to hear more about the game, just click on Omar's channel at 11, people. Go subscribe to Omar as well. So I'll be on his channel at 11 talking about the Premier League and stuff. But overall, I've told you guys the schedule. Sunday, you'll get like 3 or 4 uploads, probably 3 uploads tomorrow. And pretty much Monday to Friday, there'll be a stream every day. The GVO show on Monday, watch-alongs from Tuesday to Thursday, and the Man United preview on Friday. And then obviously the match reaction on Sunday after, all the games and stuff. But yeah, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe if you want to use social medias under the description if you want to follow me. The email for the inquiries. We're trying to hit 1K subscribers before the end of the year. So if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.